Is this the start of that head-to-head battle everyone's been waiting for? Let's ask a Democratic pollster, Doug Schoen, along with the Hill's editor-in-chief, Bob Cusack. Bob, let me start with you. At some point, they've got to go head-to-head. You know, the innuendos have started to build up, and obviously President Trump, former President Trump, has been taking aim at Ron DeSantis a lot more than DeSantis has, although it seems like Ron DeSantis is starting to pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Charles, it's so early. A lot of people on summer vacations, and they're not focused on this race. So, you know, media people who are writing off DeSantis, it's a little bit early. At the same time, his campaign sputtered at the beginning, and other than raising money, he hasn't had a lot of bright spots. So the debate's going to be so important, whether Trump is there or not. DeSantis, it's going to be so much pressure on him to win that debate, whether Trump is there or not, and everyone, including Trump, is going to be gunning for him.
Hey, Doug, in that debate, who would be the wild card for you? I mean, would it be maybe Christie, who, to me, you know, you guys like football, right? Remember they used to have the wedge breakers, right? The guy that would run down, the only job he had was just to wreak havoc, like not tackle the guy with the football, but maybe take 4 or 5 people out. I felt so far that Christie's been the wedge breaker, but could a debate propel someone like him out of the pack?
Yeah, you know, theoretically it's possible. I think somebody like a Tim Scott could break out, a Nikki Haley. But let me just offer one point of clarification. I don't think Christie is the wedge breaker. I think he's headed for one person, which is Donald J. Trump. I think he's going to use the debate to try to take Trump out and effectively be an asset and ally of Governor DeSantis of Florida.
Oh, okay. Maybe looking for a gig then if DeSantis wins, or if he doesn't win, there's maybe renew a contract somewhere. Wink, wink.
Exactly.
Bob, on that note, as we came in, I mentioned the First Lady, Florida's First Lady, Casey DeSantis, hitting a campaign trail. The New York Times calling her the humanizer in chief, something akin to the role that Michelle Obama played for her husband, which was huge. Do you think it can work?
I think it can, but DeSantis is going to have to connect more. Barack Obama gave that big speech at the convention in 2004, and that was his springboard 2008. At the same time, she is an asset, without a doubt, but there's no doubt about it that I think he's going to have to connect more and really get his campaign closer to Trump over the next several weeks before the debate.
Bob, let's stop beating around the bush. You got to tell me exactly what he's got to do. Connect is a good word, but I don't know what that means. I mean, what does he have to do?
I think, well, number one, I think he should be doing more media appearances. He's picked that up. Vivek Ramaswamy is doing a lot of media appearances. And in a recent poll, Charles, he was only 6 points behind DeSantis. And I didn't even know who he was 6 months ago. Right. So that's impressive. So I think it's more on personality than policy. And that's where I think he's got to look a little more comfortable in these diners, because when Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, these early states, it's got to be one-on-one where, you know, you're doing the Bill Clinton, I feel your pain. And unless you have that type of personality, and we haven't seen it yet, I don't think you can get to the finish line.
You know, Doug, a lot of folks in the media are saying it's too early to write off Ron DeSantis, and yet I feel like they've written off Donald Trump. Like, you know, here's what I hear, Doug. He's got a core group, but he can't raise that number, and he can't win in a general election. But I heard that some other time. Remind me, 2015, 16? The Democrats, how worried are they that Trump will become the nominee?
Charles, increasingly worried about President Trump coming back. He's over 50% in a number of the recent polls in the Republican primary. He's ahead in the most recent polls I've seen, the general election, by a point or two over Joe Biden. Biden's numbers are at about 40% on the economy, 34, 35%. So the Democrats are increasingly worried. And I believe, like you, Charles, that it is entirely possible that Donald Trump could win this election.
I'm not sure why everyone's writing them off, but that's what experts do. Let me ask you, guys, 2024 GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley, she's held 2 town halls in New Hampshire today, a real clear average showing her in 4th place in that state behind Christie. Bob, how important is it that she gains traction here and she makes some type of breakout in these early states?
Oh, very important. I think it is for all of these people who are struggling past DeSantis and Trump, especially for campaign. Remember, Kamala Harris did not make it to Iowa in a presidential campaign. You need money and you need momentum, and she needs to get it. I think she's a very good politician, but she needs to generate momentum real soon.
Yeah. Hey, guys, you are two of the best. I'm glad we were able to have this conversation. Thank you both very, very much. We'll talk again real soon.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.